Today I'm going to talk about how many credit cards I think you should have and what type you should have. And I think today's backdrop is perfect for this, right? These are the scales of justice. They're balancing A and B, and I think credit cards are that way, right? They have a lot of benefits to us, but they're not without their costs and they're not without their downside. So let's go for a walk and let's talk about my views on how many credit cards that you should have. And I want to start this off by saying, you know, the United States is very much a credit card based economy. Many parts of the world you could get by just fine without a credit card. But in the United States, that's a lot harder to do. And in many ways, it drives a lot of convenience for us, right? There's expenses associated with merchants having credit cards. There's expenses associated for many of us of having credit cards. But many of us have made the decision that convenience is worth it, right? Do we really, you know, when gas was high just a couple months ago, do we really want to walk around with, you know, $100 bills in our pocket in order to fill up our car with gas? I don't think we do, right? So there's a lot of conveniences with it. And in fact, here I am in this large city with literally $4 in my pocket. That's a mistake, right? I should have more money with me. Went to a ball game last night and used up my cash and just haven't run out to the ATM machine to do that. But let's talk about the credit card. So first I need to say, you know, there are people that are really experts in credit cards, right? Particularly if you're looking to maximize your miles and figure out the most to do with your points. I'm not that person. So if that's the video that you're looking for, this is really Azul's version of my thoughts from a money management standpoint, from a financial advisor standpoint, how you should think about credit cards and how many you should have. But I want to be candid up front. If you're looking for somebody that's going to say this is the best credit card, if you're looking to take frequent flyer miles, you're looking to take a lot of trips, this is not the video for you. Please, you come for the information and you stay for the lifestyle choices with my channel. So give me a chance, hang on another couple minutes while I share my thoughts on credit cards with you. So first, I think we should all have at least 2 credit cards. And I think they should be issued by different banks. As I said earlier, they're just an indispensable part of our lives now. And if you lose a card, you don't want to be without a credit card that you can use. It doesn't have to be your main credit card. But I think we should have 2 credit cards. And then I think breaking that up, if you do occasionally carry a balance on your credit card, please, the financial advisor in me can't help but say, please don't carry a balance on your credit card. I have in the past, but probably in my entire life, maybe 12 months total, I've had to carry a credit card. And one of those were when my wife and I bought our first house, right? It depleted all of our cash and we had expenses, we had stuff we had to buy for the house. So we had a couple months there. There's been a few times where I've carried a credit card balance, but for the most part, if you can avoid that, it's expensive debt. So try to avoid that. So if you're the type of person that has that discipline, let's say you're 40 years old and you've never carried a balance, you know, then I think you go for the perks, right? And it really depends on what your thing is. If you really like traveling, probably get something that has the most flexible and the best points. And if you really like coffee, you know, I know Starbucks has a credit card. This is not an endorsement for their credit card, but if that is what you really enjoy and you're paying off the balance every month and you've done the math and it makes sense for you to pay whatever the annual fee is, usually the first year is free. And then they get you on the second year. So at least 2 credit cards, and at least one of them, if you're carrying a balance, should have as low of a balance as you can, lowest full-in cost. Super easy to find that now on the internet, just Google for it. And what else? So it's the low-cost cards. Okay, rule number 1 I talked about. Rule number 1 is pay off your cards every month. Rule number 2, always have at least 2 credit cards. Rule number 3 is at least one of them be lower interest. And usually where you find that is there are a couple states that have caps on what people can charge for interest rates. There are some states that have no caps, and that's where you see most of the credit card companies coming from. But occasionally there is a credit card issuer from a state that has a cap on what they can charge, and those tend to be the lower interest rates. So it's worth doing your homework. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you're paying off one credit card with a cash advance from another credit card, obviously that's a huge warning sign, that's a huge alert. Don't let that happen to you. Start to make some changes before things get to that situation. That's not going to have a good ending, so I encourage you to not allow that to continue for too long, and to really avoid the temptation of doing that if there's any other way you can pay off your credit card debt. Okay, rule number 4 I talked about already, which is maximize what matters to you. If coffee matters to you, then get a credit card that gives you the free coffee. And if doing adventures and taking trips is what matters to you, then get a credit card that allows you to stay at hotels for free and travel for free, and has a transferable, has really powerful points that you could use at different airlines, etc. Again, I'm really not into that myself. I probably should be. Leave in the comments if you think I should be into maximizing the miles. I generally let my wife get that credit card because she for many years had to travel for work a lot. So having those extra perks was valuable to her and something that mattered to her. I traveled a lot when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, like 45 weeks a year. And so I had my fill of traveling for short trips. I love traveling if I'm going to stay in a country for a couple weeks. But traveling across country for a weekend, I've done a lot of that in the past. Frankly, I'm doing that now. But in general, it's really not my thing. Okay, so I talked about maximizing out what matters to you, whether that's points or coffee. And the last thing I'd say is carry cash. Always be sure to have some cash with you as well. I am breaking that rule myself today. So today's not a good example. I have $4 of cash in my pocket. Frankly, it's super easy to do that in your home country, where you understand the culture, you understand the norms. Where I could get bit is tomorrow I'm going out to the airport and I could need cash for a taxi or something like that. So I'll be sure to stop by an ATM. But those are my 5 rules. I hope you found them helpful. If you did, do me a favor, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a like. Really does help the algorithm find other people that this video can help. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video. I do read my comments. I love the fact we're building a nice community. I love the fact that people take time to leave me a comment. In fact, this video is a request in one of the comments where somebody asked, hey Azul, what credit card should I have? And I replied back saying, I'm not the right guy to ask about that because I'm not a credit card guy. But I did want to do a video. Let me know if this was helpful. It's kind of a non-traditional take on credit cards. Again, as the kids would say, thumbs for likes and subs for love. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about doing so. The types of topics that I really cover is, financial considerations, but not just finance. It's really about taking full advantage of the youth of your senior years. And my audience tends to be people, mid 40s to mid 60s, although we have a fair number of people in their 30s. So if that's you, thanks for joining. And until next time, I'm Azul, encouraging you to take full advantage of the youth of your senior years. Remember, we're only young once. Let's use our time wisely.